Hello everyone, welcome to the next lecture. In this lecture we will talk about updating a user and also talk about the devices used inside the databases. So last time we have seen that how the users are able to log in and sign up. So if we want to update the information of a user, then what we can do is we can come here and see that okay, if I want to change the name of the Tosif, so I need to write a query which will say update users set name equals, if I put for example full name, where this is important that we need to put the where correctly, that we can do through the email. So for example, if I put okay hello at cwtosif.com, and then if I try to run this query and see what it says is one row is affected, which means that this name is changed. Okay, so we can see here okay, yes, the name of this user is changed. The other way around we have is we can also update the name or any other information. So if we, for example, we need to change the email or if we need to change the password, like we saw the last time, that we can put the password. If we want to change the time zone, we can update those things accordingly. So if I want to change the email, and then what I will do is, for example, update users set email equals, and if I would say okay hello one at .com, where now there is one more thing which we can use is the ID, which is very important. So most of the time you will use the IDs because IDs are also unique. So you can say that okay, I want to update the email of user 1, and then it will say okay, one row is affected. So if I go back and see that if that is updated or not, I went back to the users table and I can see it's updated again. So if I want to update back, then I will just remove one and say, and then it says updated again as well. So if we will see over here, it's updated already. This is how you can update users name, email and other things around as well. So now let's talk about the devices. So what is the devices thing? Devices are the mobile phones on which we install the application. That can be Android or iOS as well. Here's no information regarding the devices, right? There is no front end screen which shows us okay Android or iOS, but that is part of a real industry project. So devices are used to send the notifications. So what we do is we create a devices table, and in that table we will put few fields which helps us to create the information which we will use to send the notifications on the mobile applications from Firebase. So what fields we need? For example, we need the ID always. We need the user ID of which the device we need. So if we put that on the notes over here, then we can see it okay which tables we need. Okay, let me open a new edit text document, and then we can see okay which fields we need. So if we say here, let me increase the font as well so we can read out easily. Okay, so for the devices table we need, first thing is the ID, obviously ID of the devices table. Then we need the user's ID, so of which that device is actually. Then we need the device type, which means is it Android or iOS, and then we need also the device ID, which is also called the token of Firebase, which we receive from the Firebase when we create the devices. We can also store the MAC address to differentiate between the devices for same users, and obviously always we need the created, updated, add fields, and also we can add the deleted add field as well. so what time that device is deleted. If we are working with the Laravel, that will help us out. So if we create it, so how many columns do we have? It has 8 columns, so I put over here 8 columns. Tables users already exist. Okay, so we need to put the devices table, not the users table. If I put, okay, so I do need the user ID, and then we need the device type, device ID, which is actually the Firebase token which we will use for sending the notifications, created at, created at, and also deleted at. In this we need device type will be a new data type enum, and we will edit and set the enum values. So we only need the Android and iOS enum values, so we will put only 2 values, and it will only allow us to put the Android and iOS words, not any other ones. For the device ID's length will be a lot longer, so we can just put text over here, and for the MAC address we can put 500, and date times we know that we put for the created at, updated at, and deleted at as well. For the updated at, we may need one more thing, which is on update current timestamp, and the last thing we need is the auto increment primary for our ID field. And then if we press save, it will create a devices table for us. So if what is the purpose of this devices table, I am explaining again that this devices table is not here, but it is the requirement of the app, because to send the notification when someone like your event, someone has joined your event, or someone has commented on your event, obviously then you will receive push notifications, right? For those push notifications are actually sent to your device, and for that you need to save your device ID and device type, which actually gives you Firebase, and then you insert that devices over here. So we are just inserting a device as an example. If we see here the users ID, so for example if I have user ID 1, then I can go back to the devices table and try to insert a sample device. So I can say okay, 1 device type, because we put the enum data type, so that's why it's showing us over here the device type. So for example, it is Android, and for now for example I just have this device ID. The devices ID we will get from the log of our Android application, and for example I have MAC address of this type, then we leave these fields as it is, and we inserted the device. Then we can see over here that one device is inserted. Again I am saying this is just an example word. So you can see here, when you will integrate the Firebase with your mobile applications and for the push notifications purpose, then the Firebase will give you a device ID which you can print, log, or send through an API to our devices table. Similarly, you can perform the other operations like you can delete the devices, and you can, okay, one thing I can see here, it should be null, right? Because we have not deleted it yet, right? So the deleted at, we don't need to put the value of date and time current timestamp, but we need to put null. So once we will put the informations, then at that time once we delete it, at that time we should put the values over here. So for now let's make it null. Okay, so this is how you create the devices table, and then later on we will learn how to use this devices table and how we can send the push notification devices table. One thing is important, that the users who own the devices is mentioned inside the user ID. So this device is for the user ID 1. He can log in from multiple devices, for example iOS devices, Android devices, then it will save all the devices over here. accordingly. And once the user log out, so what we will do is we update the deleted at of that specific column. Then we can skip the devices from when sending a notification, or you can if you don't want to use that deleted at, then you can directly use delete from devices where user id equals 1. So this way it will delete all the devices of that user, or if you want to delete a specific device when he log outs, then at that time you can write delete from devices where id is equal to 1. So it will delete one device, and if you go back to the devices table, we can see that there is no device found. So thank you for watching this, and in the next lecture we will talk about further things, for example locations table, and how we can create the locations, because our events needs to be stored on a specific location, and we choose the location over here. And then we will talk about how we can create the locations table and structure out that table, so we can link the events in the following tutorials. Thank you very much for the watching.